Now that the DCU has some pretty solid foundations, just like every other DC fan on the face of the planet, I'm very much looking forward to the future. That's putting it lightly. There are some very certain thoughts and opinions flying around in my head about it that I'm excited to share in my own limited edition kind of way. So follow me to the end and you just might feel rewarded. It can't be understated, this was all brought about because of James Gunn's Superman film. The impression it left on me. As I see it, Gunn went in there to set an example. So he took the time, a few risks, and the absolute care that was needed to make a film that would remind us what this character is supposed to be, for all times and all seasons. And in doing so, he seemingly set the stage for a bright, wide-open future of movies, shows, and other projects that stay true to the heart of their characters, meanwhile allow for a certain amount of wiggle room, so directors are working on projects that appeal to them. That kind of framework with such a wide variety of characters is an opportunity that's bound to entice a variety of filmmakers. I don't know who will, this is no predictions video, I just know who I want to see get that opportunity. The first creative on this list is someone who has worked for DC before. As a matter of fact, they've done some of their best work there in the trenches when it was less than fashionable to work on DC projects. A couple of years ago, Patrick Wilson took on what has to be one of the hardest jobs in Hollywood when he signed on to direct and star in Insidious: The Red Door. Aside from a few scenes that I felt could have amped up the suspense by lingering a little while longer, I feel like at most it's a quality entry in the series, and at very least, it's not the worst film by a first-time director. From a technical standpoint, he achieved so much on such a small budget, which marks the kind of talent that could keep DC Studios successful. So I'd love to see Peter and James take a chance and help Patrick Wilson hone his directing skills by getting him on episodes of Waller or the recently rumored Jimmy Olsen show. As the DCU expands upwards and outwards, making movies as monuments for their iconic heroes like Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, and Zatanna,
shadows will fall in their wake.
And when that happens, I hope DC Studios will have the presence of mind to seize the opportunity within those shadows by doing some sort of Constantine project. Adapting Constantine, City of Demons, to live action probably isn't on Gunn's to-do list, although it just might get there if I'm using this black magic correctly.
Assuming one can use it
correctly? The only way we're going to know for sure is if a Constantine project is greenlit with David Brookner at the helm. Using his experience and talent for the horror genre to work on that character would be a match made in hell. It's no secret that Lobo is making his DCU debut in next year's highly anticipated film, Supergirl, played by an actor who is seemingly born for the role, Jason Momoa. As a massive Aquaman fan, I may never get over the fact that we live in a world where an Aquaman movie made $1 billion at the box office, with an actor no one ever said would make a great Aquaman no less. Now, it isn't too hard to imagine that an R-rated Lobo film with that actor would be an instant crowd pleaser, right? Well, I believe it would be that and so much more if it was directed by Robert Rodriguez. That actor with undeniable vibe starring as the main man, directed by someone known for taking low-budget, DIY approaches and a preference for practical effects, with such a unique eye for action genre filmmaking, man, I tell you what, feels like a no-brainer to me. Not too long ago, I don't remember when, but I binged Arrested Development, and I came to find the significant hype behind that show to be warranted. It was a good show with some pretty solid laughs. Certain gags from the show spring to mind from time to time, as does my need for Ron Howard to either narrate or direct a film about the JSA. There's a certain undeniable quality of idyllic Americana in his voice, both physically and when he's behind the camera. For my money, he's super qualified to help elevate the heroes of the greatest generation. As their runaway hit comes to an end later this year, the timing would be perfect for the Duffer brothers to bring their creative talents to the DCU sandbox. Their A-game consists of mixing horror, nostalgia, and science fiction into charming and compelling stories anchored by strong emotional beats. I'd be really curious to see what they would do with a character like Hawkgirl. She had a lot of personality in James Gunn's film, but I feel like she was the only character that was a bit underdeveloped. Whether they are adapting her origin with roots on Thanagar, or going with the reincarnation angle, is a bit unclear. What a frustrating thing to not have an answer for. It affects both her and Hawkman, and maybe that's the point of them not answering it right away. but still, I'd like to know. While I prefer the reincarnation origin as it makes them both unique among the DC heroes, there's no real right answer here, just something I'm hoping the Duffer brothers are a part of clearing up. Rachel Talalay is a wonderfully talented director who is no phantom stranger to projects with large followings, and she happens to be super underrated. She cut her teeth in the film industry working all sorts of jobs at New Line Cinema, which eventually led to her directorial debut, Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. If you don't think that achievement's good enough, how dare you? Keep watching, her resume gets better. From there, she's produced and directed all sorts of projects, including directing the perfectly cast Tank Girl, and recently episodes of CW's The Flash, as well as some of my favorite episodes of Doctor Who. As her career has gone on, her directing style retains a certain air of indie filmmaking, despite mostly working with budgets far beyond what an indie filmmaker could even dream of. And through that directing, she's pulled out some truly magical performances that easily conveyed heart and emotion through high-concept subject matter. So these are my selling points for her to join the DCU, especially when there's such a ferocious need for an Animal Man project. At the moment, it certainly feels like James Gunn just might be the hardest working man in the realm of comic book movies. He's pouring his heart and soul into the DCU. While we're all better off for it, he's going to need a break between projects. And when he does, I hope he calls on any of the creatives on this list.